Welcome to Track Talk Sports. I'm your host, Willie Jones. Today, our segment is going to be the GOAT in us. All of us have that GOAT in us when it comes down to sports. I look at Kevin Durant, they call him the GOAT, or he will acquire the title as GOAT, as well as Michael Jordan, who's now the GOAT. LeBron James is on that list, of being the GOAT. Dr. J. I guess we can go on about the GOAT, in us. I look at, different players, look at their game and, what they bring, to the game, the Iceman, Connie Hawkins, all of these guys, Will Chamberlain, these players that inspired me, Walt Frazier, Dave DeBusschere, Earl Monroe, I could go on and on. Just being player myself, I admire, sports, and I admire the work that goes into it, because the work that goes into it, it helps you, in life, the challenges you have, that you have to, withstand, from, spectators, and, criticism, that comes, people measuring, game, all the time. And, when we're young, we don't really, look at that, in our younger adolescent years. We're just out there, having fun. But, there are people who can, I guess, be jealous of you, and that's just part of the game. If you have talent and, you're playing and, you're working hard at it, it's just the appearance, with you being comfortable. Some people want to judge it as being arrogant, but, it's just the mentality of the game. You want to do well, you push yourself, your your expressions, as you're playing. Sometimes people don't understand. You're putting all you have into it, and there's some players who are a little bit above others, and, but those ones who are above, they go at it hard, which, most players do. But the leaders take the lead. The followers follow. And that's just the nature of the beast, that's why I love seeing good talent, and that's in all sports, because you know the ones that are performing are putting their all, into it, because that's the way they train. They train hard, and they want that position. It's just like a job, they work hard for it, and it pays off, in the long run. And, I think most players, said before, it's just have that greatness about them, They work hard. Some work harder than others, but, for those that work hard, they have the right attitude and are coachable. That seems to be the ones who, actually get the chance to play at the highest levels, of the sports. And, that's just the way it is, I love sports. I love watching sports. I love looking at, the different players, whether it be Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, some of these young players. It's like anything else. It's some games, some teams, you won't miss them. If they're going to play, certain plays you just want to see, for whatever reason. It's their talent level. It's, you really get into them, they bring something, to the game, some excitement, and, Kevin Durant, he reminded me so much of the Iceman. Connie Hawkins, he's just a bunch, well, more or less the Iceman. Connie Hawkins, Dr. J, or kind of put those two together. But Kevin Durant and Iceman are more similar. They're built, and everything. They are finesse players. They it's like any other player. They're hard to guard. Because they're pretty smooth with the ball. They're pretty free with it. They're not uptight. And I noticed, even for myself, more, I was very thin as I was coming up, and more finesse, and that's something. If you work on it, you learn, because you then you play off other players' energy. It may seem strange, but that's just, some players have it and some players don't. So you can see your game, in a lot of players, and that's what you do. You analyze you. And then when I was young, I wanted to be more like Walt Frazier, had the pump fake. Earl Pearl had the spin moves. Dick Barnett, all the guards. I was more or less looking at, because the forwards, they playing way above the rim. The guards back then were more playmakers, You know, it wasn't so much the dunkers, things like that. It was guys who were 6'7", 6'8". Dr. J 6'6". Myself, I'm 6'4.5". You know, and you know, I love to jump, I love to dunk, and you know, things like that. But I was more of a player who played without the ball. You know, just cutting, things like that, catch and shoot. You know, but you know, just looking at the guys of today, like Devin Booker coming up. You know, the ball brothers, you know, who are making their stamp in the NBA. You know, it's really something to really see those guys, those young men, put it that way, excelling, you know, in the sports. I'm not about criticizing the players, you know. I'm more or less look at their talents, their skills, and the fact that they've made it, you know, to the NBA. You know, as a older guy, you know, I can look back and see how physical the game was when I was coming up. You know, it was bam, bam. You know, it's all the time. It was like, you know, just physical. You know, you just didn't go inside without, you know, getting just about beat up. You know, you had to be quick, or you had to be fast, or you had to feed the big man, you know, because it was so physical. But, you know, these guys, I guess the game, you know, with it changing from, you know, just, you know, having trainers, you know, I guess that helps the game to change, because, you know, some of the kids now, they get a lot of personal type of training, you know, working on their skills, you know, and, you know, creating different ways of, you know, mastering their hand IQ, their hand, you know, movements, and, you know, their flexibility, and, you know, it's more of a science now in developing a player, you know. Because back in the days, you worked on your shot. You know, you didn't have somebody adjusting your shot, you know, teaching you, you know, how to shoot. You know, that's something you just went out and did. But now, you know, they have drills, you know, you just go through, and it happens at a young age. They're doing this at a very young age. You know, so kids are getting it early. So the guys, the players are more sharp, you know, as far as their shooting abilities. And, you know, the game has evolved because it has opened up the court. You know, now they're shooting the three-pointers, and going beyond 3 points, you know. But it makes the game very exciting. You know, it's not so much about the dunks. You know, when you get guys with the ball handling, it's, you know, it's excellent. These kids have very good. They move fast. The game is speeded up. They're running faster. They understand the game. Some they make it to the NBA. They have to. Maybe go play overseas and polish up the skills. But it's an ongoing process. For a lot of the players. So that's why I say when you compare players today, it's not fair to some of them, because they're so young. These kids are coming in the league, at 18, 19 years old, and if you look, for myself, that's we were still playing, high school ball, or still in the parks playing, trying to get better, but because of the training and everything that the kids are getting, they are ready. A lot of them are ready, and a lot of people used to say, "Oh, no, he's not ready for the NBA." That's what they used to say. They say, he's too young. The kid's too young. He's not ready, But, it's hard to judge who's ready, who's not ready, because you're not there when they're working on those skills, whether it be dribbling, whether it be shooting, whether it be passing, rebounding, boxing out, and all of the skills that you need to be a good player. And we watch the game, and the game is so fast. They don't even really box out like they used to box out. Because it was, that's why I say it was so physical back in the days. That you had time to box out. These guys, they jump so high these days. It's just a totally different game. We can't even put the way we played, on the way they play it now. Because the game is so fast, And it's, again, just like the segment, the GOAT in us, these kids are developing quicker every day. They're working on their skills. The ones who are going to, we're going to be seeing in the college, on the college level, on the professional level. You have a global, global arena, I'll put it that way, where these guys can go overseas and play Spain, Europe, different places that they can go, and the leagues that are around, that they can play in, to get back to the NBA, because that's everybody's dream, and the Rucker Park, I have to say, I always say something about the Rucker Park, because, that's where, some guys, get the opportunity to go down there and play on a legendary park, because the talent out there is just as, you know, exciting as the talent in the NBA, you know. You go down there and you see a lot of NBA players, just going down there to get a name for themselves. It's a legendary park, But the GOAT in us, that's the athletes, who work so hard, to make it, either on their recreational basketball team, their junior high school basketball team, their high school basketball team, their college basketball team, to make it through all of those levels. Just like tracks back here, the 4 tracks is the 4 levels, and the 4 levels is the 4 levels of education: elementary, middle, high school, college. 4 levels: elementary, middle, high school, college. In all of those levels, you're progressing, to make it, in life. Those are your challenges. You put that with sports, and you can achieve anything you want to achieve. That's what makes you a GOAT in real life. I think, as I look at sports and what we hear, whether it be television or radio, I'm always like, I want to hold our kids up to the highest esteem. We have that opportunity through our organization, Track Talk Sports, to hold our young people up to their highest standards and give them some direction, not make them feel inferior of anyone else, but just to focus and stay focused, and, that's what we want, to help, in giving them good information so that they can go in the right direction. That's our goal. Like I said, it's not just about sports, but more. It's all things good.